According to womensrunning.com, running regularly reduces the risk of breast cancer by 25%, cataracts by 35%, gastric cancer by 50%, and serious heart attacks by 50%. Although these statistics may seem to make running seem beneficial, there are still many myths out there associated with detriments in running. Personally, I'm an NCAA collegiate cross-country and track and field athlete, and I've been running for over 10 years, and I've had many coaches over the years giving me insights and feedback on health benefits associated with running, as well as personal lifestyle benefits. So the three main points that I'll be making today are discussing, first of all, the myths that are associated with running that are thought to bring detriments to someone's health. The second point is refuting these myths by stating what the benefits of running really are associated with a person's health and their lifestyle. And the last point I'll be making is how someone can make running benefit themselves. So therefore, I believe that the physical challenges brought on by running bring more benefits to someone's health than detriments. First off, I'll be discussing the myths. So the first myth I found online, and I've heard through many different people talking to me about running and myself running, is that there's a negative impact on the heart because of running's strenuous nature. And I found this myth on active.com. The second myth I found that's often stated to runners is that running is such a high impact sport that it leads to many injuries. So basically, running is bad for your heart because it's too strenuous, and it's additionally too strenuous on your body because it's such a high impact sport. So to refute these two myths, I'll be discussing the benefits associated with running in someone's health. So first of all, to defute the first myth that negative running has a negative impact on heart problems, is that running actually improves your cardiovascular health. So someone might not need to run marathons to feel the benefits from cardiovascular health. One other statistic that I found from womensrunning.com was that even running just 5 minutes per day improves someone's cardiovascular health by over 45% than what it would be without running or without doing some form of exercise. So despite what many people believe, running is not too strenuous for your heart unless you make it to be so, and even running just 5 minutes per day can help you increase the likelihood of having a healthy heart. Secondly, running can help build physical and mental strength. So this is something that I found on Runner's World, which is a common running magazine and website. And someone, besides just looking online to find this, they can experience it for themselves. So even after a couple of weeks of running for your first time, you might notice yourself to gain more strength and build more muscle. In addition to this, if you become a distance runner or even a sprinter, running is very much a mental sport. So whenever you're doing this sport, you have to be able to have enough focus because you aren't really running for a purpose like in other sports. For example, if you're playing basketball or volleyball or maybe even soccer, you're running for a purpose. So you're running against other people to get to the ball first. But with running, you're not necessarily running towards something, you're just doing it. So it does take a lot of mental strength, and as you do running more often throughout your life and for many weeks on end, you will eventually build more mental strength that's associated with endurance. So for my third point, I'll be discussing how someone can use running to benefit themselves rather than detriment themselves. So to reiterate, I refuted the first two myths of running having a negative impact on your heart, as well as being too high impact of a sport leading to too many injuries, by saying that running is actually good for your cardiovascular health and it actually builds physical and mental strength rather than injuring you. However, both of those can be a result of running, but more so improper running than using it to benefit yourself. So the first way you can use running to benefit you is by having proper shoes in correct form to fit to your own body. So I brought some examples of different kinds of running shoes, which I have behind me. So the first two types of shoes are both Asics, these are Gel Cumulus, and these are Nike Pegasus. So these shoes depending on your running style and what kind of shoes you prefer and which ones work best for you. These ones are more of a supportive type of shoe. So if you do notice yourself needing more support, maybe you are hurting a little more, you're a little more sore after runs, and you seem to heel strike a lot, these shoes might be best for you. And then the next pair of shoes I brought are just some Nike Frees, which are more minimalist type of shoes. So if you're wearing these, you should definitely have a forefoot strike, just to make sure that you won't be sustaining any long-term injuries. And so those are different type of proper running shoes that you can wear depending on your body style and depending on what you prefer. So after choosing a proper pair of shoes, you should also make sure you have correct running form. So as I stated briefly before, correct running form is running on your forefoot. You shouldn't really heel strike because it destroys your momentum as well as puts a lot more stress on your knees and on your hips whenever you're putting your heel out in front of your body. So you should use a forefoot strike where the balls of your feet are aligned directly with your heels, and your heels are aligned directly with your hips and shoulders. So you create a nice straight line down your body. Running with this type of form will help you stand more upright, as well as allowing yourself to use your Achilles tendon more to absorb shock rather than putting all of the shock in your knees and in your hips. So besides having proper running shoes as well as having proper running form, you should also build up to running slowly, which should be challenging but not overly vigorous. So this last point goes back to the cardiovascular health risks or benefits associated with running. So if you build up too quickly, it might put you more at risk for having heart issues, or it might just be way too strenuous for your body to be able to handle. So if you build up slowly to running and listen to your body and make sure that you're not overly exerting yourself, running can be beneficial to you. So to wrap up my points, I went over the detriments thought of running thought to be brought on to someone's health, aka the two myths that are associated with running. The second point was the benefits of running associated with someone's health, so how it can positively impact your cardiovascular health as well as building physical and mental strength. And then the last point I went over was having proper shoes in correct form, adjusting these to fit to your own body style, and building up slowly to running, making it challenging but not overly rigorous. So the thing that I would advise everyone to do is to try running for themselves and see how they can reap the benefits in their own lifestyles.